Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna go over Holmdel Football's strength conditioning program, the first phase of training that they're gonna run. This is typically referred to as a hypertrophy block. A hypertrophy block, the main purpose of that is to increase muscle mass on their frame. It will set the foundation for developing strength and power as the off season continues to progress throughout the year. So what I do is I start off by testing their 1 rep max on their bench press, their squat, and their hang clean. This gives me a true assessment of where their strength is really at or their power is really at. From those numbers, I can then develop and plug into our off-season phase 1. So hypothetically, we have a 405-pound back squatter, okay? I have week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 planned out, okay? Our sets and reps are here. The load is the weight on the bar, and then reps and reserve is a guide that I'm gonna use to manage the weight on the bar to make sure it's the appropriate amount of weight. This will allow them to lift with quality technique and good form. You don't want to be constantly training to failure on back squats and bench presses every week out of the year, because a lot of times, especially working with high school kids, their form starts to break down and they start to compensate. This may result in them shooting their hips off the bench, slamming the bar off their chest, flaring their elbows out. So it's really important to make sure that their technique is important, and using reps in reserve is a great way of doing that. So we're going to start week 1, 3 sets of 10. They're higher repetitions because it's a higher volume program. The point is to gain muscle mass. So we're going to train with higher repetitions, a little bit more like a bodybuilding style of program. Okay. The load on the bar is approximately 65 to 70% of the 1 rep max. So if he's 405 pounds, it'll be about 275. And then reps in reserve, he's about 2 to 3 reps away from failure. True failure would be lifting so many reps that you can no longer complete a repetition during your set. So this would be doing 10 reps. He may be able to do 12 to 13. So we're going to do 275 times 10, leave 2 to 3 reps in the tank. The following week, we're going to do 3 sets of 10 again, but we're going to increase the load, and that's going to take us a little bit closer to failure. Week 3, not only are we going to increase the weight, but we're also going to add an additional set on top of that. And again, they're continuing to get stronger, so it's still about 1 to 2 rep in reserve. May only do 2 sets at 315, 2 sets at 295, but it's still more work than the previous week. And then week 4, we're going to do 4 sets of 10. All 4 sets will be at 315, and this is going to be about close to failure, maybe leaving a rep in the tank for all your sets. So as you can see, we start a little bit conservative and move much closer to failure by week 4 of the program. Week 5 is what I would consider a deload. So the point of a deload is to drop fatigue. Athletes will accumulate a lot of fatigue when you're training 4 to 5 days a week for 1.5 hours to 2 hours a day. It's really important to drop fatigue so that they can be fresh, avoid overuse injuries, and you're good to go for the next block of training.